Welcome to this video clip on the research results of the Light in Europe project on lifelong learning, innovation, growth, and human capital tracks in Europe. My name is Per Ederer, and I will present to you briefly the results on income growth and complexity. In summary, the higher the degree of complexity in a job, the higher will be the income that can be earned in this job. Incomes grow as we become older and more experienced. But for some jobs, the income growth is faster and longer than for other jobs. For instance, if you are a manager or a professional like an engineer, lawyer, or doctor, you will experience an income growth until you're 40 or maybe even 50 years old. However, in simpler jobs like craftspeople or service jobs, the income will only rise until about 30 years old, and it will rise slower and after that stagnate for the rest of the career. A different way to look at the same phenomenon is not to look at the occupations themselves and the income growth, but to look at the amount of complexity that are contained in these jobs. For instance, if we take jobs with very high degree of complexity, then they will rise in their income from the very beginning quite fast, and they will continue to rise until the end of the career. However, other jobs that have very low or almost no degree of complexity will not experience a rise in income, and the people who hold these jobs will not experience an income growth over their career. In summary, the more complexity there is in the job, the higher and faster will be the income growth. It is not the job title or the job position that predicts how much income growth you will experience, but it is instead the amount of complexity that is contained in the job that you will encounter while performing the job that will determine how much experience you gather over time in dealing with this complexity, and therefore that will determine how your income rises over time over your career. The same applies if we look at regions in Europe. What we find is that regions that have a lot of jobs with a lot of complexity have also very high incomes. And regions which have jobs with low complexity have low incomes. The relationship between the amount of complexity in the jobs in a region and the income that is earned in this region is quite strong, as can be seen in this picture. Every dot in this picture represents one of 220 regions in Europe. I showed you briefly how incomes grow with more complexity in a job, and how incomes seem to be higher in regions where jobs are more complex. For more details and more information on the relationship between income growth and complexity, please have a look at our report on income growth and complexity. You can download this report on our website www.Light'inEurope.com. Thank you very much for your interest.